All right. We want to start with the sun or Gaia?
Um, I was thinking we both channel and have a conversation.
Oh, interesting. So to look at the first time in years, it wasn't like blazing bright for some reason.
That's interesting. What do you make of it?
Well, possibly the maybe the simulator was has been taken down, and we're actually seeing the real sun again. Or I know the activity's been off the charts. Maybe it's now doing like a calm before. Well, when novas happen, you'll see they'll change color and shape and all kinds of characteristics and look like they're expanding and all, and then they'll start to contract and they'll get darker right before then they go boom. So we'll see what it does throughout this winter. But like I said, I'm predicting that by oh wait, my prediction was about Betelgeuse going showing its supernova, and then sort of like in yeah, I still think it's going to be like rapid fire succession, all these other novas, and the sun is going to let off an outer shell, which will be that great solar flash that we're talking about. All right, Soul, you're with me now, so let's hear what you have to say about it. Well, I had this discussion with you last time. I said your consciousness is essential in all of this. It reaches out farther than you realize. Yes, all the way out to Orion's belt. So when you got your hearts will hit their solar maximum, and then I will as well. We'll reach out to each other.
I think it's fair to say it's a tandem effort. Yeah.
Very much so.
Is
And
there,
that'll become more apparent when it comes to your scientific community because the evidence will be overwhelming and they won't be able to discount the factor of consciousness. You'll see your physics change significantly. Einstein's going to have to update his information.
from your perspective, is there anything that could improve upon this tandem effort in terms of the work that the humans are doing to assist?
Nothing that's not already being done because you guys who are of the light are hearing the right messages and following through. You're gaining ground, you're overtaking the darkness, and the darkness is it's on the run and really it's even beyond heading for the exits. It's just a mop-up operation. Do you want the solar flash to hit sooner? Well, there's areas of the Earth that have a closer affinity to my solar power, and namely North America. And so their position is going to have to be, they're going to have to be in position for it to happen. And so that's why the springtime is that window, spring of 2025, your time.
I would say there's plenty of room for opportunity for humans to ground themselves more, whether that's through their feet and in the earth and dirt and all those earthing grounding type of scenarios. But we can also get creative with grounding our consciousness in other ways.
Absolutely.
I've heard of people grounding to the sun as well as to Gaia and creating a strong dual connection there.
There's, again, without reading religion into this, there is a saying, lift your eyes to the sun or keep your eyes on the sun. Oftentimes that is used in terms of the Son of God. But they're kind of one and the same. It's an archetype. It's representing myself, the sun. I am the source of all life. And so as you keep your eyes on the sun, you're receiving that life. You're getting the upgrades. And in a way, it is sort of like grounding. You ground to the earth, but you ground also to the sky. There's a negative and a positive polarity at play. You want, ideally, you want to be a channel with no resistance to this. All of your societal trappings, the stuff that's cool, the stuff that's popular, is all designed to interfere with that flow. And that's going to cause a great deal of suffering in a lot of people. People that Thomas calls them sports fans. The sports fans are so, and they're so disconnected with reality. They just want their entertainment. They just want their team to win. They're totally embedded into this into duality and opposition and all of this. At this point, it's not possible for them to break free of it. They can't be saved. Those are probably the people you have in mind.
I definitely agree that people like that should be grounding more and connecting with nature and the divinity that exists in their environment instead of the falsities, the illusionary mechanisms. Um, while I don't disagree with the negative positive polarity that you mentioned, I think the way I would describe these grounding procedures are such that earthing is more of a physically grounding primarily. And as a result, the byproduct of that is a mental benefit. And grounding to the sun is the same in reverse, where it feels like primarily mentally benefiting and secondarily physically. And so by combining these two methods of grounding in whatever balance feels most harmonious to the individual, I think is probably the most beneficial, not just for the individual, but for those around them as well as the collective. Do you have any advice for people who wish to know more about sun gazing, grounding to you through their optical nerves?
Oh, definitely. There's many aspects of it. What is best is to start off with horizon gazing before sunrise and then after sunset. So you're taking in the ambient light that is the more um, longer wavelengths of light. Once that's comfortable, normal, then you can take in more and more of the sun's um, face as it comes above the horizon. And and again, for beginners, I would very much limit it to about 2 to 5 degrees, which if I estimate correctly, is like one finger width, one human finger width off of the horizon. After that, you will be receiving a lot more direct and full spectrum of light. But the more advanced you get, and your eyes are able to adjust to that, meaning that they'll grow more cones and and they'll be able to take in more light. But that takes a lot of awareness as well to know when your body has had enough and when it's too much. Leaving the sunglasses behind is kind of important, not relying too much on sunglasses. And then opting, instead of using sunblock, which does have its purposes, a healthy with healthy ingredients, but foregoing the sunblock and allowing your skin to receive as much light as possible. Most clothing will actually allow plenty of photonic energy to pass through that it can still have a health benefit. Back to the sports fans, I just want to say one last thing is that stadiums and sporting events are really designed to harness and to funnel an energy that's close to Loosh energy. And so the more engaged people are with this and they entrain themselves to it, it does interfere with gaining the upgrades that solar activity has to offer, and also the Schumann resonance that is it's all around you. So abstaining from these adrenaline inducing activities, creating peace and calm in yourself, and as you say, grounding through barefoot walking, gardening, drinking slightly salted water that's clean from impurities, and then also vary your showers up between hot and cold. Don't be afraid to take a cold shower because there's something very, very grounding of that as well. It has to do with the increase of mitochondria in your tissues. It allows for more energy production and channeling.
And to build upon that, people can also talk to the water in their showers. This is a blessing often forgotten, but water does hold and store memories, and it loves to be recognized and thanked for its service here. So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, mindfulness and intention. You can meditate upon me as well, not necessarily channeling, but bring the essence of the sun into your heart, for they're one and the same. And it will help to cleanse the heart. It'll help to cleanse the energy and expand the energy so that the heart actually develops to the extent that it's supposed to function. Again, there's a lot of mechanisms in your society that retard this capacity, which is what is the true cause of cardiovascular diseases, making the heart smaller than it's supposed to be. And then also taking that meditation out into the rest of the vasculature in the body, because that too has an electromagnetic signature that casts out and communicates and perceives with the world around it. The more interconnectedness just prepares you for the what life is going to be like in a higher density. If I am speaking to Gaia, I'd like to ask about the electromagnetic activity coming from the core. Is it hmm, has it increased along with solar activity?
Yes. Um, it's also rebalancing um, in ways that ultimately benefit everyone. And as we mentioned, this is a tandem effort. All of life is a tandem effort, but the adjustments that have been made over time to the positioning, the rotation, the energetic flow within the atmosphere have all uh, ultimately served their original purpose of creating chaos and destabilization for all layers, levels, and dimensions of what we know today. And so we are grateful for the light workers that dedicate their time and resources to assisting in the removal and overtaking of these destabilization mechanisms. Without those efforts, there are timelines which lead to very unfavorable outcomes for everyone. And so the collective of humanity is doing a wonderful job to learn, grow, and evolve in the best way that it's shown how. Because strengthening themselves and others is a strong way to strengthen the planet and all that resides here by becoming conscious of what's happening, by paying attention to the signs and synchronicities.
I've been interacting lately with your angelic hosts, the archangels. They're I say this. They're they're just ready to hit the field. Again, to use sports terminology, they are so ready to get involved somehow. And and so permissions have been cleared for them to do so. It probably wouldn't surprise you then to see them in your atmosphere. And just use healthy discernment that you can know truth from fiction, because there are deceptive elements in your governmental structures can that can deceive you into thinking that a deity or an angel has come in, but to only judge them according to what their character is. If they are clearly of service to humanity, then it's a good chance that you have the authentic being. But if it is making any demands whatsoever, don't believe it. Making promises, don't believe it. Asking loyalty, oaths, such things, these are all abominations. But when the time is right and when they're called upon, the angels will be there. And your governments will not like it very much.
And if there's any questions about those voices and those questions, and if someone is having doubts or concerns, I would gently remind them that Gaia is here to assist, can be called upon at any time. There's truth and wisdom that are often overlooked due to failure to ask. So never be afraid or hesitant to ask, to be shown. Ask for easy access to the gifts that are inherently within you, as your angelic teams of light surround you always and love assisting in the growth of individuals as well as service to others. There is a massive grid in our atmosphere that houses these beings. They are part of the consciousness that resides here. And they love to assist. But they are unable to unless specifically asked. So bearing this in mind, often the difficult part of the process is landing on the right questions to receive the answers you seek. So also advising everyone to spend time investing in the practice of asking questions. It is often a learned skill.
And it's always fair to do so. The only thing that would not be fair is to render judgments. And that's a nasty habit of many people. A perfect remedy for that is instead access your inner philosopher and just ask questions, your inner Socrates, if you will, and ask questions of everything. What I'm seeing as well in humanity is the analysis paralysis, which is just normal part of the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. totally normal, but it has to be overcome. The time for any of that stuff is over. You have nothing to lose, really. So there's nothing left to fight. There's nowhere to run, so you can't flee. Fawning just, again, puts your worship outside of you. Take your worship back, keep it inside, make your meditation your worship. And then the freeze response finally is that you got to melt that. And maybe in many of humankind, you may be one of the incarnate angels, in which case there is a genuine desire for lawful action. And so you're waiting appropriately, waiting for that call for help. And so, as Gaia points out, and as I'm pointing out, is that the permissions have already been there. And service to humanity is the calling that we've answered. And so let's not hesitate any longer. Every little bit of service contributes and is it's already pretty much like a snowball rolling downhill, turning into a great big snow boulder. So we keep it going.
We also wish to send upgrades to all those willing to receive it that will help to dissolve the analysis paralysis mechanism that has been overstimulated and in some regards anchored into the collective consciousness. So we call upon the angelic teams now to flush the system, removing any blockages that are keeping this paralysis mechanism in place. For all those who wish to benefit from this service, you can gently affirm to yourself, yes, thank you, accept, I receive. Yes, thank you, accept, I receive. Yes, thank you, accept, I receive. You can call upon any other upgrades you feel that would benefit you tonight.
So as we activate as humanity, I want to reinforce my light codes into the hearts of all who turn towards me. And that's many. That is, as far as I can tell, it is that critical mass that I might have mentioned before. You need a critical mass of human consciousness, and I think we have it. So all who have turned their hearts towards the light, their hearts are now being infused with the angelic codes, solar codes, cosmic codes, so that there's no need to process. When you know the time is right to act, you act, and you act with boldness and courage. And so this energetic courage, this frequency of courage, is resonating through all hearts right now and rises up through every body, expands beyond every body, and creates scalar waves between all of these fields. And the scalar waves then heal the land that they're on, and everywhere they go, wherever they may go, they will continue to bring that healing and in effect sort of reversing any dark energy, dark magic, ill intent gets all transmuted by these scalar waves. So although we're all people of action, your action could very well be just standing in a crowded room and resonating. And that would be sufficient. Anyone who might be a pilot of sorts, you're very beneficial, because moving that energy up into the atmosphere, I mean, wherever you go, expand in meditation, expand that energy out beyond your vehicle, your helicopter, your plane, ultralight, glider, parachute, whatever you have. I'm going to reach out to the aquatic life as well, in particular the whales, dolphins, and give them the same codes and just infuse them with greater power to do what they're already really trained to do. There have been efforts the past number of years to kill off these creatures, but they've persisted. They've had protection and they've done very well.
They're sending love, gratitude beyond measure. Any final thoughts or questions as we bring this channeling to a close?
Well, the everything is in place. I will release the channel now.
Sending love and gratitude as we stand in honor with creation as one, hand in hand with each other and the source that lights our way forever. Together we say, I am you, you are me. We are we. Thank you.